Welcome back to the Order 1886, and yeah, Sir Galahad is still walking towards his destination. But guess what? Now we can actually use the run button.
The bad news is that your sprinting animation still is not that much. But hey, it's better than before, I guess.
It's better than nothing.
Well, hey, maybe we can at least appreciate all the...
infused with muscle relaxant are faster than you.
Well, I suppose we can appreciate all the wonderful details crafted into this game.
We can still do that by moving at our own pace.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just trying.
I know that sometimes it might result in an awkward kind of thing where something dramatic might be happening. Your character can still be moved at the normal pace, but again, it's kind of one of those not necessarily implied thing, but one of those things that are appreciated by you being present. The fact that it's the person who has the controller in hand who dictates the tempo in which to move according and everything. But
can you punch anybody?
We need to do this fucking immersion.
In these sections, you can do nothing except from walking and running. That's all you can do in these bits.
And that's the thing, honestly, for as supposedly detailed as
Sure you don't need help, love.
Do you mean a strong man to take control of things?
That's right.
Just stay out of our way. I'd hate for you to get shot by mistake.
Well, that dialogue was awkward as hell.
Mercenaries.
The United India Company prefers its minions enthusiastic.
The last thing we need is a band of hired guns causing more havoc. I've told them to remain on lockdown.
The proud United British Empire, everyone.
Well, to be fair, this is specifically England.
But remember, this is the end of 1888, so it's roughly towards the end of the 19th century. Well, sure, there was already starting some cracks, but the British Empire was still kind of a thing. It still had places, colonies and everything. But it is kind of showcase at least the...
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We have done it, everybody. We arrived at our destination. We have found the rebels. Now let's take care of them.
Let's get to work.
Let's get to work!
This also works as your weapon tutorial. If you've played any cover-based shooter, like Gears of War and such, you already know exactly how this works. L2 to aim, R2 to shoot. Circle to cover, just like in Uncharted. And yeah, that's basically it. If you've played...
You can also tell whether that this is kind of wrong because the camera sticks way too close to your character.
Yeah, I know. The idea of a cover-based shooter is that the camera is supposed to be placed in a way that you can see over the edge of it. It's so you can better gauge your stuff. Maybe this is for the sake of immersion, that we can only see what our character is supposed to see.
Ow.
But this may also be one of those cases where it makes the game more cumbersome to play.
Hey, you got a license for that horse.
Get your asses over here, I need help!
There you go, the constable will lock the gate and we'll do our thing.
Also, is it just me or does the lip syncing feel off at times?
Also, Dreams, I need a bit of knowledge about accents. Well, they're supposed to be Irish.
I'm not sure. I need to hear it again.
I'm not
sure. Sorry, don't worry.
I mean, this is England too, so I'm not entirely certain that would be something that they would go for.
Wait. No.
Well, that's the thing to you. Sorry, Pedro. Britain has different people in each of the countries of other countries.
I mean, and from what I understand, London's like the British equivalent to New York City, so it could have easily been a melting pot.
Not to mention the sad truth that the British Empire had always a grudge against Ireland and always wanted to annex
Callaway and Brimhall. Okay.
So, anyway, though, again, Theo raised a big point about how, even if they're trying to slow us down to look in the environments and whatnot, it still is way too slow. But here's the real kicker on the top here. For as much as you think they want you to interact with the environment really is not that interactable. Well, let me put it like this. It's not going to give Shenmue any competition anytime soon. Heck, I'd even dare say Ace Attorney lets you interact with its environment more than this
Again,
game
I want to
does.
put it in comparison to the game that pioneered the whole mechanic of the story. Well, not necessarily this because it's a cutscene, but the idea that the game is controlled by still your speed and everything, and things happen around you for the environment and everything. Half-Life, you know. But in that game, Gordon Freeman can still move at the pace that he wants, and what the game does to compensate that is to David Cage you inside a room with the NPC, so you don't actually miss the dialogue or the event that happens, you know. And the environment, as much as they might have been a bit, interesting at the time, the facilities of Black Mesa are not exactly super detailed or too particularly interesting to look at, if I have to be honest.
I mean, it was 1998. So.
Yeah, like
Oh,
he said.
hold on, let me mention something. Here's one problem at this game. If you're expecting the AI to be like in Gears of War, well, might as well cast those expectations out, because the partner AI of this game, as Dr. One put it in his review, is absolutely atrocious. Your AI partner will never actually hit anything. I'm not kidding. You can leave your partner to do something. But let's see again. The partners, Marcus's partners actually help and actually shoot down enemies. You know. Whereas Ingrain, she shoots, but she never actually kills anybody. And this basically is the thing without the whole game. Like the game, you basically on your own. Ingrain doesn't really do anything.
Again, it's comparable to, sadly, Aliens Colonial Marines, where although in that case you can chuck it up to Gearbox not programming correctly.
I guess this is what it's like to be the only smart stormtrooper in a Star Wars movie.
God damn.
You know, honestly, Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite was a better AI partner.
Well, okay,
and
to be fair,
technically...
she literally did nothing in that.
No, hold on. She helps out with your weapon reloads.
I'm talking about having an autonomy, you know.
Well, that's my point, though, is like, well, she doesn't even actively directly help with the
have a
fighting
better
yet, but she's already a better one
of
done.
that instead, Mass Effect. Your partners, even when left alone without Shepard actually issuing a specific command, like say, Singularity from say Yara, are still very effective in what they do, you know.
Damn it.
There you go.
How did that guy miss you point blank?
Because this game is operating on the same type of AI we had in Quantum Break.
That's the thing, though. Okay, the game is either, well, as you'll see later, unfairly difficult, but for a lot of it, it is brain dead easy to the point where you might as well be playing on autopilot.
More bedlamites inside.
Okay, let's go in.
What's a Bedlamite, Dwibs?
Ooh. Okay, so that was the way the game's way of tutorializing the secondary fire. Some weapons have secondary fire where you press R1. In this case, the Malachian auto rifle has a little thing of, I think it's steam. I don't know what it is. That knocks down the opponents in a non-lethal way. Alright, this is true, so we can establish something. This is how these knights have been alive for centuries. They have some kind of magic elixir that every time they get wounded or old, they can just drink that shit and will heal them back up. The game
specifically mentioned that it's treated as the blood of their predecessors.
Is it? So far, Theo, I have yet to see a single cutscene that actually explains that.
I distinctly remember that being mentioning in the playthrough that I did mention from the Italian guy that I follow.
Maybe
we'll
it shows
see.
up later.
Maybe it's in the flavor text and I forgot.
Well, I guess we'll see where it goes, because so far I have yet to see a single scene that explains what that thing is.
That is because that kind of thing, again, without going into it, is tied to one of the quote-unquote twists of the game.
I will say this. Hopefully it's in the main story, because I feel like something that's, integral to the night should be something that you can't miss in flavor.
Not to mention, Theo, as Darkcloud, Jota1, and Jova mentioned, there's so many unresolved plot threads in this game that I wouldn't really be surprised if it's never explained, to be honest with you.
Oh god, imagine, what if a lot of the loose plot threads were actually solved in flavor text?
Well, remember, Well, actually, no, never mind. I'm thinking of something
I
else.
don't think this game ever got any supplementary or
Not that I'm aware.
material and-
No, unlike Heavenly Sword, this game didn't even get a movie. This game came, it whimpered and died.
Honestly, and that's a thing, like, for as much problems as Heavenly Sword gave, I at least got a semblance that Sony definitely had a lot more hopes banking on that. This one, granted, maybe Sony saw the writing on the wall, but yeah, this one got some advertising, but outside of that, it really kind of died out with a whimper. Sony didn't even really acknowledge it further on later.
No, this game was basically a failure. Like, it's not interesting. It's not. Heavenly Sword, at the very least, to this day, still has people trying to stand up for it. And to be fair, this game also does have its fans, specifically people who really love the idea of the setting. You know, the steampunk London thing.
I think in itself, Galahad would work well. You know, if hypothetically there was a PlayStation stuff Battle Royale 2, he would work well as a character there.
To
that's the only problem is
Jova,
that-
the only acknowledgement Sony has ever made of this game post its release was the Easter egg in Astro's Playroom, and that's it.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Which is more can be said for Heavenly Sword, but
Oh, right! Heavenly Sword. Well, I guess to be fair, Heavenly Sword was...
awkward elevator scene, of course.
All right, here you go.
Quite. Just another ordinary London morning.
I say.
Indeed.
So this is your typical London morning.
So is
So,
the idea
okay.
supposed to be that London's a crapsack world, or is it just that this is a typical ordinary day?
Or the order.
Yes, Joe?
No.
What is it?
Oh, no.
What is it, Wibs?
This is basically the video game equivalent of the Avengers 1998.
Yeah, I think I noticed that in the first part,
Everything looks dull. The only difference is that London isn't abandoned.
Yeah, there's melee attacks as in stealth takedowns. No, later. Stealth takedown.
Yoink.
No, don't think. Oh, so does this mean I get to do stealth takedowns? No, the game will only allow you to do something like that whenever there's like a scripted request for it. Like, you cannot actually try to do stealth as an alternative to shooting. Sorry.
And like we said before, this is the biggest problem with the gameplay. They're in the lack of gameplay, or at least gameplay that you really truly feel in charge of, because the game is uber scripted.
It's linear as
Let
fuck.
me repeat that. The game is uber scripted to the point where it will barely feel like you're in control. Like, even though this might have more gameplay than Metal Gear Solid 4, I felt like I was playing Metal Gear Solid 4 more than this.
Well, the
That's
thing
a
is-
game infamous.
Well, Metal
for
Gear- well-
definitely having an abundance of
Well, the
cutscenes.
gameplay sections, when Metal Gear Solid 4 has a gameplay section, the gameplay section is very fast because it has all the refinements from all the previous games included and all that, as well as the Octo Camo, which allows for more interesting stealth strategies. The gameplay of this game is just every generic by the numbers cover-based shooter you've ever played. It's executed competently, don't get me wrong. It's not like the game is broken or anything, but that's it. This gameplay is competent at best. Competent.
And remember, that's not even getting into, again, the scripted as all hell QTEs are not fun, not intuitive, don't even really flow well with the game or even make sense in context.
I guess at least this plays a good.
Yeah, this is the bit. This is the section that Dark Lodger one used. Basically,
Open up.
basically this is the bullet time bits, basically. And like I said, it's not like this is something that you can activate on your own, like in the Matrix games. No, this only activates in specific spots that the game plans for. So it's not like this is a mechanic you can experiment with. No, you just use it whenever the game feels like it.
They try to be like Red Dead Redemption, but it's not working in the slightest.
Nope.
You know, if I may, part of me wonders if this game got rushed, because seeing how detailed these environments are, but the fact that when you actually fire on them, the textures aren't even affected. Like, come on, even games beforehand had, like, at least destructible environments, like, granted.
Considering this was presented in the lineup of titles presented in the initial reveal of the PS4, I can't believe
Cutscene.
that. That's sort of
Okay.
like, make this in the launch window.
Downstairs.
Uh,
Civilians who need your assistance.
Yes, sir.
Very well.
Woohoo!
Very good, sir.
Anyway, just because things are missing doesn't mean the game was rushed. For all we know, these guys might have been so preoccupied with all this other stuff that we're trying to do. They just
It's not so much. It's not so much that it was rushed with. But yeah, we'll talk about the actual missing stuff later when it actually becomes prevalent.
My point about me thinking that this may have been rushed is it's
Yes. Look at that, guys. We found the French womanizer stereotype.
General Lafayette, which was actually a historical figure. Again, this game tries to be a bit like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen by including some historical characters and some potentially fictional one in a homogenized set.
So, okay, we have
I'm wondering, is this guy supposed to be like the descendant of Lancelot? Because for those who don't know, Lancelot, while a member of the British Knights of the Round Table, was originally French before joining up.
No,
with
Jova,
King
the
Arthur.
Marquis de Lafayette was basically a mercenary, French mercenary that fought in both the French Revolution and the American Revolution.
Oh, I asked because he has a similar uniform to the Order of Knights. So...
He's actually part of the order, but it's like a new recruit or something.
Alright, so the basic...
Kind of like Tom Sawyer in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie.
The basic gist of it is that, of course, look, a knight has to curb his passions. Oh, but without passion, a man can't fight. So basically, that's their dynamic. Don't expect that to go any further than that, because...
Again, Galahad is the stern guy that believes...
we have the stern straight man, the strong woman who needs no man, and we have the French womanizer. So where's the British dick who is constantly drunk from drinking in pubs? Come on, let's go for all the stereotypes.
But yeah, no, I mean, this really does beg the question, though. Like, the guy has such a similar outfit to them, but he's apparently not a part of their group.
Well, okay.
Also, I have to mention, for a secret order of knights, they don't seem to make that much of an effort to stay concealed from the populace.
That in the first part, like,
Yeah,
they literally walk out in the public, so I figured, are they common knowledge, or did they just not give a crap?
Like
The London Underground Mayfair.
Also, to answer your question, Jova, like I said, Lafayette is technically still part of the order, but it's labeled here as the same bit. He's the youngest of the current membership, so either this is his training or anything, or maybe it's for specifically mentioned later when he joined, or he's just, a new recruit from recent.
So he hasn't gotten his code name yet.
All right, so the basic gist of it is that there are still some escapees, so they split up so they can find them all and cover more ground.
The
But yeah,
steampunk technology also allows the characters to have conversation distant by having a prototype of a radio on them.
Going back to what I was saying earlier, my reasoning for wondering if this was rushed is like, well, it's weird that they have all this detail here that you would think would be, able to interact with, or at least show destruction in the environment, but they don't. Like, I wonder if that was in the cards, and again, maybe it's like Dwib says, and they just overemphasized on the detailed stuff. I wonder if it's a combination of the two leading to about a bad time management, wherein they focus so hard on the details, but forgot to actually include, stuff to make it able to interact with.
It might be also a deliberate choice. A lot of games that you think logically would have their environment be destructible in some kind of manner, deliberately choose not to have it just because they chose to, no real particular reason behind it.
Which means, at the end of the day, what we have is essentially a boring tech demo. When you can actually see it, because the game's so dark a lot of the time.
I mean, you're watching my recorded footage, so you don't see the HDR effect. But yeah, when you're playing this in HDR with HDR on, it can be quite dark.
Don't get me wrong, I get it. Sometimes clever use of lighting is good, as the Resident Evil 2 remake showed us, but again, when it feels like I can barely see the details, it kind of just becomes more annoying than immersive.
In the meantime, Lafayette is still French. That's basically what I can get her. So that's what I can basically get her from that interaction just now.
So that's his character.
He's the French guy who loves women. That's it. That's his character.
It seems like he's the more optimistic of the three that we've met so far, to give him that. But he doesn't seem to have much else. But hey, maybe they'll flesh out the characters properly as the game goes by.
My history on that, my memory on that particular front of history is a bit rusty, so I don't know if the real life Marquis de Lafayette, he was Gilbert by name.
Did he interact with
By the way,
a lot?
Jova, he killed them. He fought in the American Revolution.
You're probably wondering why I
Funny
was...
that he's here working with them.
Because, Jova. Because...
I can tell you later. Go on, Pedro.
You might have noticed how I was bumbling around that corner for what seemingly no reason. That's because, I'm not kidding you, when you're playing this game in HDR, the darkness is accentuated, and as a result, there are certain parts in this game where I genuinely can't even tell what's in front of me. So sometimes it can be really hard to... I have yet to get to a point where I genuinely had to turn off the HDR in order to play. So let's see how far I can get into this game without getting to a point where I have to turn the HDR off.
To answer your question, Jova, it's more of, like I said, this ties to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kind of thing by having characters who might be known to the public, either be fictional or real, in some capacity, being in a cohesive setting just for the lose of the crossover potential. Do you remember, Jova,
this. Okay, hold on. This is the bit. We're about to be introduced to one of the free boss battles we have in the game.
Yeah.
The werewolves.
So yeah, like I said, the idea is that this Order of Knights protects London from werewolves.
So, of course, as you can imagine, this kind of threat needs to be taken down in a particular manner, but how?
Okay, so... The boss battles against the...
What was even the point of transforming if you were just gonna run away from us?
Because it's gonna hunt.
Yeah.
This is basically a cat and mouse.
Okay, so the game calls them the lycans. Lycans, okay. So here's what you have to do. Wait for him to come to you, and then you have to dodge. Like that. By pressing X. Basically, what you have to do is try to shoot him as he's coming towards you. If you don't think you can, and eventually if you do hit him, okay, there you go. That's okay though. If he strikes you, it's okay because as you can see, remember this game is operating on the good old health system from Uncharted, meaning, oh, there you go.
Down, boy.
So yeah, even if you get hit by the werewolves, you should be fine because you should have more than enough time to recover. There you go. Or you can just dodge like I just did. And this is it. This is the boss battle. Just shoot as he comes towards you and dodge when need by. There you go. Done.
But note, it can get even worse.
Alright, so when you finish off, you can when they go down, you have to press triangle to finish off the lycan before they can recover. So basically you have to do the final blow, basically. There you go.
There we go.
With another QT.
Alright, so however, turns out they hunt in a pack.
More.
And yeah, that's and this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you fight the werewolves. You either do this bit over and over like we were just doing now, or you just do long QTE. That's it. That's the boss battles, everybody.
Kill the walls because it's a dance.
You know, Tio, all this talk about Lafayette really does make me wonder if he's going to ironically be their Lancelot, because again, knowing that he's...
To make an example again, Jova, the original League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, there's the fact that there's Captain Nemo, who not
Lafayette.
only is a grudge against the British working for the British government.
And yeah, even if he catches you for horde, you can still do the QTE to get him to go away. But Lafayette, I'm not like, come on. And guess what? As you might expect, Lafayette never actually comes in time to help us. He only comes in when we actually finish off the werewolves. So
simply do not want to steal your thunder, no?
Clearly.
But no, I mean, honestly, it could be an interesting idea if Lafayette was supposed to be the Lancelot of the group. I mean, it would work so well thematically. Again, like Lancelot, he starts off as French, and like Lancelot, he will, well, okay, not in the same way as Lancelot, but kind of turn on them and kill some of them.
The last one escaped. That being said, Taylor, there is one more characteristic of Galahad that you forgot to mention. As, like Dark Lord Joe was saying, he's a dumbass, but I'm gonna have to wait before I can explain why.
I thought of something else, but it's gonna happen way later.
to be fair, isn't almost everyone in this game pretty stupid?
Oh sure, but Galahad is actually one of the more stupid people.
And it's kind of a shame because he's literally imbuing the title of the character that's supposed to be.
Alright, hold on, let me explain this. The T-23 Induction Lance, whatever it is, it's basically
induction.
it's an electrical gun. Basically, it shoots bolts of lightning. You have to use it to pursue the lycan and kill it with this thing. In fact, I'm going to show off what actually happens when you fail the upcoming QTE, because it's funny.
Again, the advantage of this game is the fact that it tries to have a couple of steampunk-esque guns in order to give him some action variety.
Hey, Galahad.
Actually, we will also meet.
Holy shit, guys! Galahad is actually running fast now.
Demands it. Okay, but this really does beg the question. Are the Knights even really a secret order? Because they have just allowed a flipping werewolf. And
hold on, Jova. This is funny.
Civilians have seen this.
This is funny. I'm gonna fail this one. Let's see what happens.
Whoa!
God damn.
Well,
this turned into Tomb Raider 2013. Very.
All right. This is a great. All right. So let's do this properly now.
Theo, this game wishes it was Tomb Raider 2013.
Yeah, at least that game has gameplay. But anyway.
Wow. Plenty of people in London saw that, so yeah, if we ever have...
So there you go, there you go, Dwibs. The people of London can rest easy tonight.
Knowing that they won't be attacked by a werewolf.
Yes.
If anything, shouldn't they be terrified knowing that werewolves are a thing? Again, it's not clear
We don't
if
really have
werewolves are...
neuralizers like in the Man in Black.
Again, none of this stuff is really explained well. Like, are the Knights common knowledge? Are they not? They collaborate with the police, but they act like they're a secret organization.
Alright, so
Never mind the fact that werewolves can run around in broad daylight.
Alright, so this is Lord Hastings, as the pseudonym implies, the Lord of the Order.
Oh, so he's the King Arthur?
No, not King. Well, no, we're gonna meet
the. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be mentioned later, but a couple of the titles of the Order are actually missing in action because the respecting holders died.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed that gameplay because now we have like 10 minutes of cutscenes.
Right. And yeah, so this person is talking about.
They're boring. Go on.
This guy with the mustache that he's talking about, that's Arthur Conan Doyle.
He looks like a live-action version of the Thompson brothers from Tintin.
So let me guess, the idea is that Conan Doyle will get some ideas for his novel from this.
Get it? No, it's more like get it. Is that police?
This is important too. Basically, lately, all of the attacks have been happening specifically in Whitechapel.
We must examine.
Hmm.
Clue now. You see?
Yes, we get it. He'll write Sherlock Holmes.
The honor of presenting your findings. You can expect me at Westminster. Over here, sir. Excuse me.
Well, okay, I guess the idea is that, you know...
Joe, is Conan Doyle the character in the Great Ace Attorney games?
Not that I recall.
No. Not that I remember.
Kinda would be weird given how, you know, Sherlock Holmes is a real thing in that thing, so...
I mean, remember, the John Carter movie had Edgar Rice Burroughs in the movie.
Yeah.
There you go, Jova. Lord Hastings has the title Percival.
That's it, Percival. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of... no, never mind. I'm thinking of somebody else when I say Hastings. Yeah, I'm sorry. These characters are so bland that I genuinely mixed them together. Sorry.
You heard, Commissioner Doyle. It's a police investigation now.
Knights do not relinquish their authority to bureaucrats. Percival is right. This matter should be brought before the council.
All right, time to go. All right, let's
do that.
Let's talk to the council. See what they think of all this.
Centuries have passed, but our order has remained steadfast in its sacred.
This guy sounds like he's doing an Ian McKellen impression.
Between man and half-breed.
I know you all already know this, but I'm telling you all so that the audience can know.
That's all I ever heard.
May his name be forever resplendent.
Is it true? Did the Lord Chancellor fight by Arthur's side? That is the legend.
So listen to me.
Shush.
That
I'm
balance
trying to listen. My bad. Chapter 2. Amongst
Chapter
equals.
2.
Amongst
by a
equals.
new contagion, the rebellion. As long as its campaign of anarchy and terror is allowed to continue, the plague of lycan infestation that has infected our city will only grow more intolerable.
Well, the Lord Chancellor will thus agree to the urgency of a mission into Whitechapel.
Perhaps this could be an interesting story about how perhaps lycans are misunderstood, and that the way that we are treating them is full of racism, or maybe this is just a generic horror story.
Do not
Ouch.
presume to quote history to me, Sir Percival.
I was there when it was
See more
written.
history than you shall ever know.
Yeah, it's basically the same dialogue of Narnia of why did I wish in the wardrobe.
He basically just did the don't you mouth off to me, Sonny.
We must stand vigilant together, lest our ranks be poisoned by those who seek the destruction of all we hold sacred. No one is immune from the rebels' influence.
Surely the Lord Chancellor does not mean to question Sir Percival's loyalty.
This order has long appreciated Sir Percival's counsel, but the current disruption calls for caution and concerted effort, not rash action.
What's up the way he said? This calls
Sure.
for-
So
Is he Scottish?
I guess
Does Lord Darwin speak with the blessing of the peers?
Lord
He
Darwin.
can't be Scottish. He should
Yes,
be hating the fact that
that's
he's
Charles
associating
Darwin.
with
Charles.
English.
What? Okay,
Lord Hastings, Lord Dunglass.
that's it. Lord Hastings is that guy there. Yeah.
Perhaps.
So wait, so this big bearded guy is Charles Darwin, the ever
No, I
racist.
forgot who, but someone is in the room like that.
No, one of the guys up there on top.
What says the order of Her Majesty's Royal Knights in the matter of Whitechapel? Aye
No.
or nay?
So let me get this straight, Lord. So let me get this straight, Lord. Whitechapel is being ravaged by werewolves on a daily basis, and your solution to this problem is to just sit around and doing nothing.
Too prudent, Grayson.
Yes.
Wither away from this inaction.
How
logic.
exactly have you been protecting London all these centuries?
Poorly.
Because no one bothered to attack us.
His mind is set on.
So
They thought, nah, this is too easy. Let's just leave it.
I don't even get it. You know that werewolves attacks have been, getting common around there. Why are you just gonna do nothing
Again,
about it?
there might be actually a reason, but we're far too early for that. So let me just say instead, because I know this is actually based
My
on
problem-
real things and everything.
Hold on,
but,
hold on.
I found it
Actually-
so stupid.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think I'm going to start this in a moment. If I remember correctly. Yeah, there you go. All right, let me just mention some. Yeah, let's go and start. Because one thing that we have yet to establish is that I forgot his name. The lead of the council, the guy with the beard. Like I forgot his name.
Was that Charles Darwin?
No. That's a different one.
Pedro, no.
Turns out
Lord Dickus or something.
this guy is actually Igraine's father.
The order
Ah.
Oh,
while half-breeds roam our streets. You cannot deny that there is some truth to what Percival has said.
Need I remind you of your place, Lady Igraine? Who are you to question the council's wisdom?
Weird. We came by them earlier the last time before you reloaded the checkpoint, but no words were being spoken.
That's because,
Every
Jova, they
time
always
I
start
say-
speaking immediately after you gain control, so you have to go immediately there if you want to listen.
Oh, I get it, immersion, but come on.
and again, for those portions, the subtitles do not get activated.
For some
So let
reason.
me get this straight. You added a slow walking speed.
Oh, hold on.
But you made it that.
Here's another real-life celebrity,
Cameo.
How many of us
Nikolai Tesla.
America?
Yeah, the inventor of the order.
Or Tesla.
Anyway, Lord Darwin is this guy, the guy with the... What's the name of that white thing on the head whips? I forgot its name.
Wig.
Wig. Is it just wig?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Judges to this day still wear that wig.
Hold on. You're telling me Nikola Tesla formed the order? That doesn't make sense.
No, he's the
current inventor.
He's the scientist of the order.
He's the Q.
He's the Q of this game, Jova, basically. Which
You
make
even get a section where you talk to him in his lab and showcase his
yeah,
gadgets.
you basically
Hey,
have,
just like with Dark Void.
yeah, you have basically what is basically what would normally be a Q section of a Bond movie, except with none of the charm.
You are the Knight Commander.
Oh, yo.
Let him see reason.
You think
Okay, so this guy is actually Igraine's brother, and Lord Percival is asking for him to try to create a favor and convince him that we need to do something about Whitechapel.
As by his haircut and complete lack of
You know-
beard, you can tell that he's the snooty.
You know, this is actually one of the first times where I generally start to having a thing with this kind of with the plot, because the game tries to portray Percival's actions in terms of wanting to go to Whitechapel and strike the evil at their core as a rash thing that is very dangerous. But honestly, I'm kind of with Percival on this one. Okay, so if heading straight into Whitechapel is dangerous and rash, okay, what do you have a better plan?
Again, like, okay. Even if we get a reasoning for this later, what we know about the Order so far does not exactly paint them in the best of light. They have made some screw-ups. They have literally been allowing these werewolves to essentially set up their base at Whitechapel. And again, at this point, they know that there have been repeated attacks there. Unless we get a very good reason rather than just a vote for all the nays and
Yeah,
whatnot.
speaking of that,
The order of Arthur's Knights sucks. Like,
Arthur would be so proud of them, I'm sure.
which versions, Jova?
usually I just go with the Monty Python version.
No, I'm talking about Jova specifically because he is a fan of Fate, and that one is like, what, 3 or 4 different versions of Arthur?
Oh god, let's see, probably 7 at this point if we're counting Grand Order.
Long been partners. I trust him with my life.
a little restraint.
Is he going to betray you later on?
Or we can still go with the version of
Basically-
for Camelot. That one
Well,
wasn't-
for now, there's this guy is Igraine's brother, aka he's also the son of the head of the order. He's asking him both to try to make sure Percival doesn't go too rash, and second, take care of my sister, please. Look, Igraine doesn't need anyone to take care of her. I know, but a brother worries, right? Which is fair.
Oh,
Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of your sister.
Oh, it's interesting you say that, Blizzz, because the game sometimes tries to imply that Igraine has feelings for Galahad. The problem is that plot thread doesn't go anywhere. Go on, Jova.
Again, I really do wonder what was the big thought process with this game. Like, there are a lot of interesting ideas and qualities here, but the more interesting stuff really feels like it's pushed to the side for this, which makes me wonder, was this just supposed to be, this one game, essentially, that would later open the floodgates to a more prosperous franchise where we could actually, tackle a lot of the ideas that people are looking forward to?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what you actually asked, Jova.
All right.
Okay, my point... Okay, you know what, I'll explain in the next part.
All right, everybody. In the next part, we're going to slowly walk towards Tesla's lab. So, get ready for another walk. See ya.
Yeah.